Girl. It is Fox Across America with Jimmy Fallon. They're playing Kool and the Gang. It can only mean one thing. I mean, who's the coolest guest on this show? A lot of people think Kat Cammack is. Well, let's see what Kat Cammack has to say. She's usually pretty pro Kat Cammack, but I might have caught her off guard with that one. Hey, girlfriend, how you doing?
Hey, girl. Hey, how are you?
Hey. Would you claim you were the coolest guest on my show? I mean, you don't know all of them, but where do you think you rank?
Listen, you don't know what you don't know, and I don't know who all has been on the show. I mean, I'd like to think I rank high up there, but arrogance is not attractive. I mean, come on. Don't we get enough of that from the Democrats?
Oh, shots fired. I love it. Well, listen, you can always win back the crowd. You can always win back the crowd with a cheap shot at the other side. Dude, let's just talk about this because I love talking to you, okay? The president got interrupted. Stop it. The president got interrupted by the Easter Bunny yesterday. And we all know that was strategic because he started talking about Afghanistan, and it's a member of the press team who came over and was like, look, eggs and carrots. Come on, Mr. President. Is that where we are now as a country? The Easter Bunny is now intervening?
Well, listen, I actually have a question for you. Was it you or not in the Easter Bunny suit? Were you moonlighting?
Stop it. They ain't letting me.
We talked about this.
They ain't letting me. No. Don't confuse the White House Easter egg roll with the furry convention you invited me to. One is not the other.
Okay, all right.
One is not the other, Kat Cammack. I kid, but no, I watched it. We were all like, we were laughing. We keep going through these things with Biden. Like last week, he shook hands with an invisible man. And it's like, yes. Part of it's like funny, but then there is a sad part of it. It's nuts.
It is so sad. Well, and I keep going back to this. Listen, if you are still of the mindset that this man is of sound mind, then you have been living under a rock. You're 100% right. You have the Easter Bunny directing the President of the United States across a field because he gets off track and he gets confused easily. You see him at the State of the Union shouting over applause of the Democrats because he's confused as to why they are continuing to applaud. He shakes hands with an invisible person on stage. He gets lost in his own press conference. It is scary because, obviously this is, the commander-in-chief. I, of course, call him the trafficker-in-chief because of the border situation.
We're going to talk border, girlfriend.
We'll get there. But this is sad. If you were his family member, would you continue to allow your family member, if you had even a sense of affection for your family member, to continue on like this? It's clear that he has serious signs of dementia. He gets confused easily. And I've had Democrat colleagues who have had meetings with him that were very tightly controlled meetings. And they even come back to the House and they say, listen, he's not all there. This is not okay. Yeah. So for the sake of our country, or if you're his family member, for the sake of your own family member, wouldn't you want to say something? This isn't right.
Well, the problem is that if we've learned anything over the passage of time, it's that nobody wants Kamala Harris to be president. Is it possible that she is so bad that they'd rather have a guy in there who thinks he's Batman than bring in Kamala Harris? Is that the reality of what we're facing?
I think you're 100% right. I think they can hang on long enough to get through the first term. Mm-hmm. They know the second term is just not going to happen. Yeah. There's just no way. No. The poll numbers reflect that. But they're so terrified of how detrimental a Harris administration would function. She can't keep her own staff. No. She is completely out of her league and way out of her own depth on this. I mean, she can't do really anything except for stand there, and even that, she cracks smiles and jokes and none of which are funny or coherent.
It's so weird. She's like the Joker.
It's bizarre. And so I think that they would rather hold on for a new candidate to come in, and we've seen some names batted around, everyone from Hillary Clinton to Michelle Obama to Ro Khanna. We've seen all kinds of names starting to get batted around because there's no way there's going to be a second term of the Biden administration. There's just no way. But the people in the White House today they will not allow for a Harris administration. I guarantee you that.
No, there's no way. They would put Hunter in charge before Harris. There's no way. This just
especially with the free crack pipes. I mean, they got that part covered.
Hey, first of all, that comes in handy. Second of all, his foreign policy. At least he's going to bring some money into the country. You know what I mean? We might actually turn a profit off this Hunter presidency. Kat Cammack is on the line from the great state of Florida. She's, of course, a superstar representative from the 3rd Congressional District. A top guest on the show. I will not call her the coolest because it is controversial. No, I had you as the coolest. I like you a lot. I think you're great. But again, like you said,
your Christmas card, Jimmy.
You stop it. I am accepting nothing in the mail from you, by the way, lady. Nothing. There's no world.
That powder stuff, that's totally normal.
Yeah, I love, like, you think your mail's getting past security here at Fox. Good on you, baby. Good on you. Hey, I'm joking. Thank you. I'm joking about drug trafficking, but one of the things I lost my mind in the last break because yesterday there was an event at the White House yesterday where Peter Doocy was questioning Jen Psaki, basically asking if the administration is going to apologize for that wild lie they told about border agents whipping migrants. Now, anybody who's ridden a horse knows what split reins are, but they're not owning this. And if you remember, they flat out said, like, you know, these people are going to pay. There's going to be consequences. We right now don't have horses at our border. We've compromised security to placate what was, for all intents and purposes, a gaslighting. Did you see that?
Oh, absolutely. And this is what kills me. Before an investigation had even started, which there never should have been one in the first place, and I can say this as a 20-year I was a rodeo queen.
Hold on, you broke up a second because you were giving me the good stuff and your phone got staticky. Just move it. You said so.
Sorry, in the middle of nowhere. In
you are
Florida.
Okay. Well, I love it. Well, what you said, what we heard you say is you can say what you're about to say as a 20-year veteran of something.
Okay, so I spent 20 years barrel racing.
Mm-hmm.
I was the rodeo queen from my hometown growing up. I grew up on some experiences that I was
rodeo queen growing up. Then you went underwater again.
Picture. Listen, I'm gonna have to send you the picture. It's all appropriate, folks. Everything about this is appropriate.
Yeah, she was talking about rodeo work before this, just so everybody can keep up with the group. Woo! Good times. If you're just joining us, Lisa Struck and Peter Struck and Lisa Page are on the line. I kid.
So the thing is that both Biden, then Psaki, and then members of the administration, including Secretary Mayorkas, came out and vilified these agents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not saying one way or the other. You know, we're going to do an investigation and get to the bottom before we comment. No, they came out and crucified these people. And this one agent in particular who was doing his job, and I actually saw the photos and I watched the video myself, there was nothing wrong procedurally or ethically or criminally. Keep in mind that the investigation just proved that there was no criminal act that has taken place. There's still an internal review going on,
mm-hmm.
which if you go back to what Mayorkas said, he said, this will take days, not weeks or months.
Yeah.
BS. BS.
Cool, because they're trying to make it go away. They just want it to wash back out to sea because most people have forgot the story. But it's these little stories that have such a detrimental effect on things like border security, not to mention morale of border security, which is getting crushed right now.
Yes, if you talk to any of those agents, and I talk to them on a daily basis, they talk about how for the first time ever, they have lost more agents than they have hired. They're at a deficit. The suicide rate amongst our Border Patrol agents is at its highest that it's ever been. Not to mention that they're coming into contact with people from all over the world that are bringing diseases from all over the world. And just say, for example, tuberculosis. The rate of tuberculosis that's being encountered at the border is at a historic high. And because there are no medical contractors that are able to handle the volume, you lose operational control at 5,000 a day. We're getting 8,000 a day. There's no way they can possibly screen these folks. So what they're doing is they're like, hey, if you don't have lice and you don't have scabies, welcome to America, folks.
Wow.
I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely ludicrous. Over 20 people on the International Terrorist Watch List apprehended at the border. Over 151 different nations encountered at the border. Give me a break. And they still don't have the wherewithal to say, yeah, we goofed up, we messed up, we made a predetermination about a situation that we clearly know nothing about because we were chasing, oh, shocker, a political agenda. It never, ever ends with this administration.
Oh, it's so disgusting. Representative Kat Cammack is on the phone from Florida's 3rd Congressional District, and it's so disgusting because when it comes to alleging racism, they're willing to go all in without any facts. You know, they show restraint in other, like, oh, we shouldn't report this Hunter Biden story. We've only got the director of national intelligence saying it's real. But, you know, when it comes to racism, we're just going to run with it. It's not a big deal. But I bring this up twofold because there's the other issue, which is the defund the police movement, which we're reading a study today. It's FBI data that says what we all knew to be the case, that, you know, waging a rhetorical war and in some instances a physical war on police budgets would ultimately led to a massive 30% spike in violent crime. And, of course, the biggest victims of that were members of the black community. And you've got Cori Bush in Congress who's screaming and yelling about defund the police. She has a $300,000 private security budget. Like, how does anybody take her seriously?
I don't know. I mean, that again is the left and the hypocrisy that never seems to end. And it's always do as I say, not do as I do, because no one can live the way that they do.
Yeah.
It is a double set of standards that has been created in this country, and it's by the progressive left. They don't want everyday Americans to have access to 911 services. They don't want that because it makes people more dependent on government, which in turn keeps them in power for as long as they want.
Yep.
That is all this is about. It's dependency and control. How can we make people vulnerable and dependent on government so that we can stay in control? That's really what it comes down to. And I think that's why this whole chasing a political agenda is so dangerous, because it's not rooted in science, it's not rooted in data, it's not rooted in fact or truth. It is all about misdirection and power and control. And when you look at folks like Cori Bush, for example, you hit it right on the head. She has a private security budget. And she says she's going to keep paying for it because defunding the police has to happen. Talk to Ilhan Omar. They want to dismantle police, not just defund them, dismantle them completely.
Yep.
These are people that represent some of the most crime-ridden areas of the country. Don't even get me started on AOC and what's happening in New York.
Yep.
When you have a progressive mayor who finally had the courage to come out and say, where's BLM?
Yeah.
If Black lives truly matter, where are they now? Because the majority of the crime has been black on black. Yep. And in Chicago, they don't even talk about over weekends how they'll have 70 people injured or killed in some of the toughest gun control legislated cities in America.
Yep. And it's, you know, I'm with you. That's why I get cranky, man. It's it feels like the black votes matter a lot more than the black lives, I think, is the point we're all trying to make. And now the organization is out buying mansions, and the woman running the organization is using word salad.
Triggered.
Yeah. The woman running the organization said she finds the financial disclosure forms to be unsafe. And triggering, yes, as if she's the only one being handed IRS forms, like we only give them out to people running fraudulent black charitable organizations. But you know what I say really quick before we wrap this up, Kat? It's like you look at financial disclosure forms like a police checkpoint. If someone sees a police checkpoint in the middle of the road and gets nervous, they probably shouldn't be driving, right?
That's exactly right. I mean, if you have nothing to hide, then you should have no problem filling out those forms.
Thank you.
Because clearly, this is about transparency and truth, and that's what they're after, is truth and transparency and accountability. Because don't they want accountability from the law enforcement community?
No.
But now they don't want it of themselves?
Dude, all they want is real estate listings in Beverly Hills. They're going out to go shopping. It's my favorite story in the world because they're buying this big BLM mansion, and now all the liberal white ladies who donated to them are going to call the cops on them when they start showing up in their neighborhood. It's just all full circle. It's so nuts. It's so nuts.
We have lost our minds in this country. It is clear.
Never been a dumber time to be alive. Kat Cammack, you're the best. I still have you at number one. Let's do it again soon, girlfriend.
Appreciate you, Jimmy. Hope you had a great Easter weekend.
Yeah. Thanks for the furry costume. Take care. Bye. There she goes, the great Kat Cammack.